Okay, we had Joey Logano, the guy I've talked about multiple times last season. The Daytona 500 though, he won the Daytona 500 this year. And if you read down here, you find out the 24-year-old driver continued to build on his success over the past two seasons with the biggest win of his career, which is now remarkably in its eighth year at the Sprint Cup level. So that means this is his eighth year in the Sprint Cup, and I forget where I was going with this. Oh yeah, it's his eighth season, and then he won the Daytona 500. The Daytona 500 was on February 22nd, 222. And of course, he drives the number 22 car. So number 22 wins on 222, and it was his 220th race over 8 years. So 8 years, also 220 is 22. He also, when he won, it was some other guy wrecked, and so with 3 laps to go, so that left them with a 2-lap shootout. So he won on a 2-lap shootout to capture his first Daytona 500. There's also there's something really fishy going on here, because Kurt Busch gets suspended indefinitely because he beat up his girlfriend or whatever, and it was like 15 hours before the race, he lost his second appeal. I'll just read it here. Kurt Busch lost a second appeal of his NASCAR suspension Saturday night, leaving his immediate NASCAR future in doubt. So he lost his second appeal, just another 2. He also has a brother who races in NASCAR. They're 2 famous brothers, and his brother got in a car, wrecked in a race, and broke his leg and whatnot. Yeah, so that was Kurt Busch, and then Kyle Busch broke his right leg and left foot in a vicious hit Saturday, the day before the Daytona 500. He hit a concrete wall, and it says that Busch sustained a right lower leg compound fracture and a left midfoot fracture in the crash with, go figure, 8 laps to go. Or 8 laps remaining. I guess I've been trying to figure out why. Like, that's pretty weird. So the one guy gets suspended, and then a few days later his brother gets in a bad wreck and breaks his leg. So they're both out. I mean, they're both KB. You got Kobe Bryant, who is injured and he's not playing in the NBA. I don't know, it's KB, 11. It could be 11-8 or 11-2. So that would be, KB would be 22 or 88, depending. And Kurt Busch drives the number 41 car, and his brother Kyle drives the number 18. I just don't know. I've been looking here. I mean, 41 was significant last year because it was 73 years before 2014, but 41 and 18 is 59. So I would expect to find 55s and whatnot surrounding it. And I just need to do a little more research on, maybe I'll start finding a whole bunch of stuff here. I looked up the list of previous Daytona 500 winners, and if you go back to 2012, you have Matt Kenseth, which it was his second win in the Daytona 500. Jimmy Johnson was his second win. Dale Earnhardt Jr., it was his second win of the Daytona 500. So, 2, 2, 2, and then Logano is number 22, and he wins it on February, or in 2, 2, 2. All right. So anyway, so I did all them, and I looked at Trevor Bayne because I remembered he was young when he won, and I thought, oh, maybe he was 22 years old. But check this out here. So he drives the 21. He was driving the 21 car when he won, and it was in 2011, which is 2-1. Well, it's Trevor Bayne, born on the 49th day of the year. But let's scroll down here and find out about his win. And it says here he won the first race of the season, the Daytona 500, to become the youngest winner in Daytona 500 history at the age of 20 years and 1 day. And he drove the 21 car. So 20 years, 1 day, drove the 21 car. This was the Woods brothers' first win since the 2001 season. So another 21, and then he drove 21, and he was 20 years and 1 day old in 2011 when he won. Wow. And look at the Daytona 500 this year. So Joey Logano wins the 22 car. The second place is the number 4 car. Third place, 88 car. Fourth place, 11 car. 44, 88 and 3, 264. 4 and 2, 8, 22. I mean, all numbers that I've talked about multiple times, and they happen to get 1, 2, 3, and 4th place. And the guy who won the 1988 Daytona, which happens to be on Valentine's Day that year, was Bobby Allison. It was his 3rd time winning. And it was 1988, and he was born on December 3rd, 1937, and he is 77 years old right now. And so I just went to 73 because that was significant too. And Richard Petty won it that year on the 49th day of the year. Richard Petty. He was also born in 1937, and he is 77, also on July 2nd, which is 2 7s. See, I guess I kind of skipped over this, but the weird thing about Kurt Busch, well, for one, it says, in a stunning move 2 days before the season opening Daytona 500, NASCAR said Busch would not be allowed to participate in any series activity, blah, blah, blah. So another 2, it was 2 days before the Daytona 500. But what's really weird is he supposedly beat up his girlfriend or whatever back in like October, I think. And they went to court and whatever. They went to court and all that. But he claims that she is an assassin and like works for the government or whatever. It says right here that the NASCAR driver known as the Outlaw says he believes his ex-trained assassin who was dispatched on covert missions around the world and who once returned to him in a blood-splattered gown. And then he says, everybody on the outside, I'm crazy, but I've lived on the inside and I've saw it firsthand. Driscoll called Bush's assertion ludicrous, saying he took it straight from a fictional movie script she has been working on for 8 years and that he has proofread. So, I mean, that's just pretty weird in general that he would say that. But, I mean, I guess, is he really crazy or is he telling the truth? Just like Randy Quaid. Is he crazy? I mean, he does play a guy on Independence Day who's supposedly crazy and whatnot, but at the end, wasn't he right the whole time? I mean, so Randy Quaid has said that people tried to ruin his family and go after him and whatnot, And the lead singer of the band Creed, he just recently had a whole bunch of stuff where everybody said he was on drugs again, and he swears he wasn't, and there was actually people trying to kill him and all this. I mean, check it out on YouTube if you want. He must be crazy too. Who knows? Maybe he's telling the truth. Maybe he's not. But there's a lot of people that this always happens to, and then you just never know, I guess. So she could be some kind of weird, trained assassin. Who knows? But the Creed guy, just want to point it out, he was born on August 8th, 1973. So 8/8/73. And he's 41 years old. So, it was a perfect year to try to kill him. Especially with his birthday and all. So, it's just kind of weird stuff. I guess it just seems very strange to me considering, 2 days before Daytona 500, Kurt Busch gets suspended indefinitely. And then the very next day, his brother gets in a bad wreck and in the race, and he breaks his leg or whatever and can't race. That just seems fishy. Who knows? You know, like I said, I need to do more research, and I will post it when I find it. But you know, I don't know. I was trying to think of just weird stuff, you know, like quotes and whatnot. Like a bird in the hand is worth two in the bush because there's two bushes. I'm pretty sure there was Moses and the burning bush. Who knows? Like I said, I'm gonna do some more research. Hopefully, I will find stuff and I will post it so I can show you guys what I'm thinking and talking about. But I'm just gonna end it there. Anyway, have a great night.